Michael Button's video, Are We Missing an Ancient Seafaring Culture?, is once again a very important video. Michael, in fact your video is groundbreaking, because you are the first, or one of the first, to work with the assumption or hypothesis that if a signal is not continuous in a supposed route between 2 points, the real route is a different one than the one expected, and even the routes across oceans should be considered. Obviously, we fully agree on that. Despite this exceptional feat of you, at 143 of your video, Are We Missing an Ancient Seafaring Culture?, you fall into the trap most of us fall into. If you would not have fallen into this trap, maybe you would have rewritten human history already by now. Just as geneticist David Reich urges us to do. We call the above trap the consensus trap, but it also could be called the brainwashing trap. If one finds a signal on both sides of the Pacific, and no continuous connection over land, one should investigate both directions across the ocean, across the middle, and you only investigate from west of the Pacific to east of the Pacific. The Amazon forest. That is of course because we all are brainwashed for far over 100 years that the Americas are not, or even cannot be, the origin of anything on this planet. Which is totally unscientific and contradicting what genetics are telling us all along. Let alone it being the origin of everything. By the way, did you all notice the signal Y is not in the Americas as a whole but in the Amazon forest? And its river and ocean extensions, which obviously all are supposed to be navigated by boats. We have Origin of Existence commented on Michael Button's videos regarding the above. But comments do not allow for full argumentation and proof. An interesting interaction is going on in the comments section of Michael Button's video, the 17th of May 2025, and initiated by @Hans7821. You can also click on our logo in the comments section of Michael's video to find all our comments in Michael's video. Michael's video is groundbreaking once more right after the above once again, or at least he is one of the few exposing, in this context, that the Polynesians did not exist yet at the time the signal Y was introduced. In other words, if the Polynesians were not the ones who populated Polynesia and brought the signal to the Amazon forest, Americas, then who was it? Where did the ancient Polynesians come from? David Reich was part of a team that researched the ancient DNA. Archaeological sites, including ancient graveyards, of one of the Polynesian islands, Palau. Older DNA signals than the younger consensus recognized Polynesian DNA were detected. Most probably the situation in Hawaii will be similar. However, current Palau DNA shows a higher percentage of East Asian than Papuan DNA. We could start out with where the ancient Polynesians, and oceanians in general, do come from, which are younger than the signal Y do come from, and since they are Y DNA haplogroup C, where does Y DNA haplogroup C come from? Since the origin of ancient Australians and ancient Indians, Tamil Nadu, are also a mystery and Y DNA haplogroup C, we include them in this question and quest. Obviously the origin of signal Y is also a mystery and not discovered, so we also throw it in the questions and quest. The answer is simple. A. Consult, as everyone should, the simplified ancestral markers, and they will point out the out of the Americas. B. Look at the roots of C, and they will point out the out of the Americas. Note, whenever you research A and B, you will be confronted with dogma and the risk of being diverted or distracted is real. So we departed for what we called for now the Michael Button ocean jumping hypothesis. Just as in the case of signal Y haplogroup C is on both sides of the Pacific. Just as in the case of signal Y, consensus claims the migration is explained by the Beringia Land Bridge standstill or the Beringia Land Bridge. Of course consensus violates science and the simplified ancestral markers, but do not seem to care about that. Obviously consensus will also not accept the Michael Button ocean jumping hypothesis easily, nor any time soon. The tree that consensus presents us. The phylogenetic tree that consensus has presented us for many decades now, does not make us much wiser about where C would come from. Regardless of all this, knowing where CT, and thus C would come from is extremely interesting, because also DE is descending from the same haplogroup CT, and we should know where most Africans as well as black skin, in general, descend from. This and some persistent paradigms are the subject of the next Origin for Existence video.